Well, good morning, everyone. In April of this year, I turned 40, the big 40, and I was surrounded by family and friends at a beachside fire pit. So if you can imagine, the setting was terrific. And one of my friends yells out, "What's next? What are you going to do? 20 years in Division I college athletics. What are you going to do?" I sat there and didn't say a word. Silence was deafening. Of course, around my family and friends, that's not typical. So I sat there. I was looking at the awkward glances. I could hear the waves crashing a lot harder. The crisp air became a lot cooler. The crackle of the fire was popping. So I finally decided, I'm going to stand, I'm going to speak. So I prepped, stood up, got out of my little chair, and said, "I'm empty. Does anybody have another one?" As I started ducking some empty cans, bottles, sand came my way. I kind of sat back down with a typical sarcastic smirk and thought to myself, I know three things. I know who I am. I know where I've been. I'm not quite sure what's next, but I'm going to enjoy the process. So today I'm going to tell you who I am, where I've been, and kind of what's next. So who I am is this. I'm a product of a size 2 outspoken sport enthusiast and internally driven former CEO of corporate America. Born and raised Clinton, Illinois, born in 1970. At the end of my freshman year in high school, we moved from Clinton, Illinois to Greenwich, Connecticut. Two different ends of the spectrum of the world. I learned during that transition a lot about flexibility and adaptability. I was fortunate to be identified as a prospectable student athlete. What that means, I had some talent somewhere. Now, I'm not quite sure where, but someone thought I had the ability to play basketball. I was recruited by several major universities, and it came down to two. I had a decision at the end of my junior year to choose between the University of Michigan and Penn State University. And one of the things that I developed during that process was this. I learned what one of my core covenants is, and that's what I shared earlier about investing in people. The coaches from the University of Michigan came into my home and asked for tea. The coaching staff from Penn State came in and asked for coffee. At the time, I knew it was Penn State because they had invested in me because at the time my father was CEO of Mr. Coffee. So off to Penn State I trounced for 4 years. Unbelievable, and I'll share more of that with you later. At the end of 4 years, I was fortunate enough for somebody to want to sign me to go play professional basketball. I'm 5'6", I'm not real fast, I've got average handles, I've got a decent shot, but I'm not that good. And I thought they were missing the video. They were looking at a video of someone else other than me. So off I went to Germany, again, another opportunity to expand my horizons, increase my people skills, and really discover what I'm scared of and what I'm not scared of. When I came back from Germany, it was time to figure out where I was going. And came back from Germany, and I was fortunate enough to have a graduate assistant positionship waiting for me at the University of Illinois. And what that meant, I was able to be an assistant coach and obtain my master's degree in sports administration. 2 years at Illinois, led to 2 years at Indiana State, led to 3 years at the University of Iowa. In 1998, we were one of the first teams to win a Big Ten championship, and I, at the time, was one of the youngest recruiting coordinators in the Big Ten at that time. It was an unbelievable career working with the people that I worked with, and that success led me to get me boosted out the door and into my own program. I took over UMKC, right down the road here, and tried to build it into a strong Division I powerhouse. Our success at UMKC in 3 years, we took it from 9th to 2nd place, where Southern Illinois came calling. Southern Illinois had been a really rich, traditional women's basketball powerhouse in the Midwest. They had fallen on hard times due to some poor coaching decisions and just a little bit of change in the university. I was hired over there in 2004, and in 3 years we took that program from worst to first and winning a Missouri Valley Championship in 2007. And looking back at all of that, and really trying to identify where I had been for 20 years. And looking at the pictures, there was one thing that stuck out. I really hadn't enjoyed much in the last 6 or 7 years. When I looked at the opportunities, the pictures, and me cutting down the nets and and celebrating great times and great things for the universities, there was something in me that was missing. There wasn't a passion, there wasn't a smile, there was just the fact that I was doing a job that I had been so associated with for all my life. So I made a courageous decision in April of 2009. I stepped away, I resigned, I left a 5-year contract on the table, and went to the beach. It was that time that I called it was the reinvention of me. So what's next? Well, there's a lot of opportunities that are next. You know, I've got a shelf full of ideas, and I'm just trying to figure them out and put them in there. So what's right on the cusp of what's next for me right now is that I'm building, and I'm excited because I feel blessed to build a business, reinvent one, sport consulting business, and where I can take coaches like myself, young leaders, and really work on their authenticity, to work on their ability to balance both life and sport, something that I didn't have that great balance on, and to be able really to achieve the highest peak that they can possibly reach. So that's what's next. Even though I may ask for another, I'm going to be able to stand and speak clearly and tell them what's next.